Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to explore the themes of AP World History. I'm excited to take you through the key concepts and ideas that shape this fascinating course. On this first slide, you'll see the main title, and I'll briefly mention what we'll cover. We'll look at the major themes that help us understand world history in a structured way. So, let's get started and dive into the big ideas that connect different periods and regions across the globe. Let's take a closer look at the themes outlined here. We start with the SPICE framework, which serves as a foundation for understanding the various aspects of a culture. Moving forward, we see that the themes are categorized into several key areas. First, there's the social aspect, which examines how people interact within their communities and society at large. Then, we have the political themes, highlighting governance, policies, and power structures that shape a society. Next, the cultural themes delve into shared beliefs, values, and practices that define a group. Following that, the economic themes explore how societies organize their resources, trade, and financial systems. Lastly, the interaction between humans and the environment emphasizes the relationship people have with their natural surroundings and how this influences their way of life. Throughout this slide, the key is to see how these themes interconnect and collectively paint a comprehensive picture of a culture's identity and dynamics. Now, let's take a closer look at the 5 AP World History themes, which act as unifying threads throughout the course. These themes help us examine broader trends and developments across different periods. They also make it easier to compare different societies and understand how various factors interact to shape history. To remember these 5 areas of analysis, students can use the acronym SPICE. That stands for social, political, interactions between humans and the environment, cultural, and economic. By focusing on these themes, you'll be able to organize information more effectively and connect ideas within a broader framework, making your understanding of world history more comprehensive and meaningful. In this slide, we're diving into how social structures are deeply connected to broader historical changes. We'll look at how shifts in political economy, cultural expression, and human ecology influence and reflect these social transformations. World history requires us to analyze the processes through which social categories, roles, and practices are created, maintained, and transformed over time. A key concept here is social stratification, which often develops based on kinship systems, ethnic groups, and hierarchies related to gender, race, wealth, and class. These social groupings shape relationships among human beings, as all societies develop ways of categorizing their members. They also establish norms that govern how individuals and social groups interact with each other. Some of the most important social categories include gender roles, family and kinship structures, race and ethnicity, and social classes. Understanding the development and transformation of these social structures helps us see how societies organize themselves and evolve across different periods. By examining these connections, we can better understand the overall theme of social change within world history, recognizing how these structures both influence and are influenced by wider historical processes. Today, I want to focus on the theme that encourages us to compare different forms of states, whether they are kingdoms, empires, or nation-states, across different periods and regions. It's about understanding not just what these states are, but also how they interact with each other over time. This theme helps us see the bigger picture of political development and change. We're also looking at the processes through which hierarchical systems of rule are built and maintained. These processes can include everything from establishing authority to enforcing laws, and they often generate conflicts, whether internal struggles or external wars, that shape history. When we talk about political structures and governance, we're referring to how power is organized and exercised in different societies. This includes empires, which are vast and often multi-ethnic, and nation-states, which are usually defined by shared identity and territory. Nationalism, revolts, and revolutions are key elements here. They're expressions of how people contest or support these political arrangements. State building, expansion, and conflict are all interconnected. As states grow and extend their influence, they often face resistance and conflict, which can lead to revolutions or new forms of governance. So, in essence, this theme highlights how political systems are created, maintained, and challenged over time, and how these dynamics contribute to the larger story of human history, showing us the ongoing struggles for power, sovereignty, and identity. Let's take a closer look at how different societies have developed and expanded over time through various productive strategies. For example, some civilizations focused on agriculture, building complex agrarian systems to sustain large populations. Others relied on pastoralism, herding animals across vast territories, which shaped their social and economic structures. Then there are mercantile economies, where trade and commerce played a central role in expansion and wealth accumulation. It's also important to consider the cultural and ideological foundations that supported these developments. Religion, philosophies, and ideas of nationalism often provided a unifying identity and purpose. These beliefs influenced social and gender roles, which in turn affected how societies organized themselves and expanded. Environmental contexts cannot be overlooked either. Different regions offered unique resources and challenges, which shaped the development strategies societies adopted. Some thrived in fertile river valleys, while others adapted to harsher environments through pastoral or other means. Throughout this process, continuity and change are key themes. Societies built organizational and cultural foundations that contributed to stability over the long term. But they also faced internal and external conflicts, whether due to environmental pressures, political disputes, or competing ideologies, that could disrupt or transform their development. So, understanding these patterns helps us see not just how civilizations grew, but also how their internal structures and external challenges influenced their trajectories over time. Let's explore how students can engage with interstate relations, which include a variety of important aspects like warfare, diplomacy, and exchanges. When we talk about warfare, we're referring to conflicts between states, but it's also crucial to understand diplomacy, how countries communicate and negotiate to resolve issues peacefully. Commercial and cultural exchanges are also key. They help build connections and mutual understanding across borders. Additionally, the formation of international organizations plays a vital role in managing global cooperation and addressing common challenges. Now, within this context, it's helpful to recognize that different types of states exist. Some are autocracies, where power is concentrated in a single ruler or a small group, while others are constitutional democracies, where leaders are elected and governed by laws that protect individual rights. Understanding these distinctions helps us see how each state interacts on the world stage and influences international relations. This slide ties back to our overall theme of political structures and interactions. By exploring these various elements, we're gaining a deeper insight into how countries relate to one another, how their internal systems shape their external behaviors, and how international cooperation is fostered across different political landscapes. Environmental factors like rainfall patterns, climate, and vegetation have played a crucial role in shaping the methods and resources humans used in different regions. As the Neolithic Revolution unfolded, people began exploiting their environments in new ways, either as farmers, cultivating the land, or as pastoralists, herding animals. Before that, during prehistory, humans interacted with their surroundings mainly as hunters, fishers, and foragers, relying on what nature provided. What's fascinating is how environment shaped human societies, dictating settlement patterns, resource availability, and survival strategies. But at the same time, as societies grew and developed, they also started impacting the environment, altering landscapes, introducing new technologies, and changing ecosystems. This dynamic interaction is a fundamental theme in world history. It influences demography, spreads disease, drives migration, and shapes the growth of civilizations. Technologies evolve in response to environmental challenges, and in turn, humans modify their environments, creating a continuous, reciprocal relationship. That's why understanding this interaction is so essential. It helps us see how humans and the environment have co-evolved over time, shaping the world we live in today. As we look into recent centuries, we see that human effects on the environment have grown significantly. This increase is closely linked to our ability to master and exploit natural resources, which has been made possible by developing more sophisticated technologies. Additionally, the discovery and utilization of new energy sources have played a major role in this process. At the same time, the rapid growth of the human population has amplified these impacts. As more people moved into cities and established trade networks, new challenges arose, such as the emergence and spread of diseases. This pattern of exploitation and expansion highlights how interconnected human activities and environmental changes are. It underscores the importance of understanding this interaction, especially as we consider the overall theme of how humans and the environment influence each other throughout history. When people from different societies interact, they often share elements of their cultures, whether intentionally or unintentionally. This exchange can lead to the adoption or adaptation of new beliefs and knowledge systems, which can be quite complex. In fact, these processes often produce culturally blended practices and ideas that are entirely new in a historical context. On this slide, we're exploring how ideas, beliefs, and knowledge, like religions, philosophies, ideologies, science, technology, arts, and architecture, originate, spread, and evolve through these interactions. This process of cultural development and exchange is fundamental to understanding how different societies influence each other over time. It highlights the dynamic nature of culture, showing how interconnectedness drives innovation and change. As we see, this theme of cultural interaction ties directly into our broader discussion of how societies grow and evolve through shared experiences and exchanges. It's about recognizing that culture isn't static. It's constantly shaped and reshaped through interaction and adaptation. Now, let's explore how we can analyze and trace specific cultural trends or ideas across different human societies. This approach allows us to see how certain concepts or practices spread and evolve over time. By investigating a society's culture and comparing it with others, we can uncover what makes each culture unique, as well as what they share in common. This comparative analysis helps us understand the interconnectedness of human societies and highlights the diversity of cultural expressions. It also reinforces the overall theme of how culture shapes human experience and how understanding these similarities and differences enriches our perspective on the world. Now, let's take a closer look at the diverse patterns and systems that human societies have developed over time. These systems are how societies exploit their environments to produce, distribute, and consume the goods and services they desire, not just locally, but across different regions and periods. You'll notice that these systems include agriculture, which was one of the earliest ways humans organized their food production. Then there's pastoral production, where societies relied on herding and animal domestication. Trade and commerce are also vital. They facilitated the exchange of goods and ideas, connecting different cultures and economies. Labor systems are another key aspect. They define how work is organized within societies, whether through slavery, serfdom, or wage labor. Industrialization marks a major turning point, transforming economies from agrarian to industrial, increasing productivity and technological innovation. And finally, we have capitalism and socialism, two different economic ideologies that shape how wealth and resources are distributed and managed. All these elements are interconnected. They represent the creation, expansion, and interaction of economic systems throughout history. Understanding these patterns helps us see how societies adapt and evolve in response to their environments and internal needs. This theme of economic development is central to our overall discussion, showing how human ingenuity and societal choices shape our world across time and space. Let's take a closer look at how trade and commerce patterns have shaped history. Throughout different societies, we've seen how regional and global networks of communication and exchange have played a crucial role in driving economic growth. These connections not only facilitated the flow of goods and ideas, but also influenced the rise and fall of economies over time. As these trade routes expanded, new labor systems emerged to support the growing economic activities. For example, systems like slavery, indentured servitude, or wage labor all responded to the demands of different economic models. These systems were often supported by powerful ideologies and institutions. Think of capitalism and socialism that justified and maintained them. It's also important to recognize the major transitions in human economic activity. From barter to market economies, from feudal systems to industrial capitalism, each shift brought profound changes in how societies organized production and distribution. All of these points connect back to our larger theme, understanding how economic systems evolve and influence human history. The patterns of trade, the development of labor systems, and the ideological frameworks all tell us a lot about the forces that have shaped our economic world.